My name is Richard Small. I live in Charlotte, Texas, born in Columbia, South Carolina, served in the military during the Vietnam era, got out, used the GI Bill to go to college, moved on in life, got married, children, and here I am today before you on something that I would have never imagined would have happened to me, and that is speaking before Congress. I'm privileged. I totally believe that the issue with guns is an issue that our country needs some dire attention to. I believe the people of America, the common people, the middle, the silent majority are starting to move, and the movement is getting stronger and stronger. I also believe this program that I have been asked to come to is a program that I think is the perfect antidote to get the word out. 24/7, the people's filibuster for gun safety is something that is sorely needed, and I am so glad to be part of it. I am not one to get up and do what I am doing right now. I've been an educator, a teacher of American history, a coach, and I've now entered retirement, enjoying the fruits of the greatest country in the world. And I let no one tell me any different. I believe in the people. I believe in our leaders. I believe there's a time now where we have to come together. The bipartisanship needs to be set aside, and we need to start having dialogue. I believe that it is actually happening. I am hopeful that it's happening. And I'm going to continue believing that something is going to come of this. So what drew me into this? My wife and I live in Charlotte, south of Uvalde. The massacre that took there in not too long ago, what I call the assassin, took the lives of innocent children and 2 teachers and totally rocked the city of Uvalde into a deep valley of mourning, and they're still dealing with it. The day that this event happened, we were watching television, saw it on the news, and there was a young boy by the name who looked a spit. William, who lives in Corpus Christi, Texas. Babe, he looks like William. And it touched the nerve, and we moved on. The night came, we were getting ready to go to bed. My wife, out of nowhere, says, I want to go tomorrow. I want to go to Uvalde tomorrow. Are you sure? Yes. I'm a teacher. I'm a mother who's lost her son to illness, and I know what it is for a mother to lose a child. I want to go. So we went the following day to Uvalde, and we went to the park. There were already crosses laid there. People were starting to show up, but it was just beginning. Little did I know that this thing was going to turn into a full-blown event that I believe is going to help to awaken our country. My wife, in her strong convictions, she prayed for each one, went to each of the crosses. I stepped back. I wanted to give her space. I wanted to be away from her so that she could have her peace. And while I'm standing there, I'm watching these people. The cars are coming, the cars are parking, people are getting out, there's crying. And I look at myself and I start contemplating. And the contemplation was the fact that I have an AR-15, to be precise, a Bush magazines. I have the whole works. I bought this when these rifles were legalized. On the rifle itself, because it was one of the originals, it said for law enforcement only. And it's engraved in that weapon. And when I purchased it, I noticed it, and I said, wow, there it is. I'm able to buy a weapon of this magnitude. Little did I know. So I shot it a few times. I put it in my gun safe. I totally believe in gun safe. I totally believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a member of the NRA. I'm an advocate of the right to bear arms. But the situation that is at hand, I believe, totally needs to be revamped. Totally, our Congress needs to come together, put the differences aside, with some methods to help to slow down this menace of massacres that have engulfed our nation. It's why I'm here. I'm privileged to be here to do this. I didn't ask to do this. I would have been the status quo. I would have watched it, said, oh, that's a horrible thing, and moved on. Like I did with a massacre that happened just south of us a few years ago in Sutherland, Columbine. The stories just go on, and I'm tired of it. Looking at those kids, knowing that they were 9, 10 years old, my grandson being fourth grader, who's promoted now to the fifth, I think that pretty much gave me the epiphany to start question this whole ordeal with, in particular, AR-15s. In my military training, the M16A1 rifle that we were using during the era is very similar to the AR-15. Let no one tell you different. Let no one tell, it is not a hunting rifle. I'm not going to argue that it isn't a hunting rifle in the fact that it's for hunting people in a war, in a conflict between nations. It is not something that should probably be floating around in our population of citizens. Nonetheless, the Second Amendment says, yes, you can do this. The law says that you can. Law says you can purchase. Law says you have the right. I'm not arguing that fact. I'm asking for common sense legislation. Owning and buying an AR at the age of 18 is about the most insane thing I've ever heard. When I was in the military, our weapons were always locked and secured unless it was a situation. You didn't just lollygag around with an AR in your possession. On military bases today, you cannot go into those bases with pistols of any sort. If you're in the military, what happens is you have the right to purchase a weapon. Fort Sam Houston, an Army base I'm very familiar with, right across the street is something called a gun locker. You can own a weapon while you're in the military, but that weapon stays off the property. There's these smart, common sense rules that people need to realize. The military realizes that this is the part about an 18-year-old being able to purchase such a weapon. If you know the weapon, its effectiveness, and you're trained, it is as deadly a weapon as you can possess. An individual, a man, a woman, who is versed in it can take out so many people in 30 seconds. And people need to realize that. It's not a toy. It's one thing for a hunting rifle. It's one thing to hunt birds and doves and quail, and turkey, with your standard so-called long guns. But an AR, you're asking for it. We cannot control the mental status of individuals. I will say this about 18-year-olds. I saw a news event this week. The news event was at a college where a fraternity was doing their pledges. These young men, 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, are partying and doing all of these daring each other and initiations. This individual, we got to just look at your news. Today, he survived. He's completely no vision, and he can't talk. Those kids are supposedly the brightest of our future. They're going to colleges and universities where they had to meet and qualify to enter. Those are 18-year-olds. That's the point. You guys need to figure it out and come up with a plan, something that can help to curtail these things that are happening. Yes, Uvalde was a particular incident. The others are different. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not going to do the finger pointing. I'm going to get into the part about the kids that died. That's where I'm concerned. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you think you need to do to make our children safer is what I want. It can be pretty complex. And all you got to do is listen to the news. They talk about red flags. They talk about background checks. They talk about high-capacity magazines. They talk, and they talk, and they talk. And so far, in the last 30 years, all we've done is talk. I ask and I plead that you guys and women start and make a change and help America and our kids to not have to worry and practice about, okay, where do I go? Where do I hide? Who's going to lock the door? Who's going to, come and get us? The part of this whole purpose of me coming to talk is, where are you? Where are you as an individual? Where are you as an American citizen on this issue, on this massacres that are happening almost weekly? So I'm challenging you, I'm challenging Congress to step up. When all this happened, I got mail, something I'd never imagined. And most of the mail, I'm going to tell you, 99%, the letters are in total agreement. What I want to do real quickly is go through a couple of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. Here's an example, and I kind of shortened it. When I read these cards, I try to come up with a main theme, something that's going to leave me with a thought. This letter here from Sue Cunningham in Chicago, Illinois, sends me a card. Make a difference. You as people, everyone, can we just sit back and say, well, they're going to take care of it, they're going to fix it, they're going to get the guns off the street, they're going to, find the magic bullet. I don't know if there's a magic bullet, but I know that we haven't done anything. I know we need to do something. This lady here says, protect the children of this country, and that what I did was making a real difference. And so when I read these letters, I just, I find myself in deep thought, and I ask myself, please, someone make a change. This card from Gene Wolfe, pray that this is a catalyst, referring to the fact that I had turned in my AR-15. I did it freely. I did it to the police department. I said, take it, do what you want with it, destroy it. I'm just not going to keep that type of weapon in my collection. And that's her cry. She's hoping that what we're doing, that what 24/7 is doing, is starting a catalyst, a movement of the American people. That's where the power is. The American people, if they can come together, not based on party affiliation, they can make a change. And I just, you hear people say this, and sometimes they think it's nothing but rhetoric, and it's not true. You can make a difference. There's people here right now where I am. They have heavy hearts. They've been impacted. They've been hurt. We've got to do something. Another card. I just want my nieces and nephews to grow. This lady, Cheryl Brush, that's her cry. I just want my nephews and nieces to grow. This one here from John Storbeck. Nice and short. I liked it. It was to the point. And, you know, how difficult is that? Congress make a sensible choice about these issues. Make something happen. Don't let this get away. This individual didn't turn a name or whatever. It's a question mark there. And the impact, the point I got there was, whatever we do, whatever happens as a result of all this, I just pray that we're stepping forward. I mean, that's not asking a whole lot. You know, not asking you to confiscate and pick up every gun in the country, and, you know, whether that's possible or not. I'm not going to get into that dialogue, you know, in a perfect world. We're not in a perfect world. Last one. This one here was from a school teacher, Chicago, Illinois. What does she do? At the end, she signs her name, and then she says in parentheses, "Yes, I'm from Chicago. I'm sadly way too familiar with the impact of gun violence." This is somebody from Chicago, a school teacher. Go figure. Flickers of hope. That anything that all of us do to try to address this issue are parts of that flickers of hope. We can only hope and pray that change will come into being. The last thing I want to do, I guess, and you know, I could go on, and that's not the purpose here. Although this is a filibuster, and I totally agree with this whole concept. The originators, the people who are implementing this so that they give people the voice, is why I'm here. We know there were 19 victims. The one who really touched my life, the similarity between him and my son. McKenna Lee Elrod, Jose Manuel Flores Jr., Annabelle Rodriguez. On that last day of school, as a teacher, everybody's happy. Everybody's getting ready for summer. They can't wait to get out. They're jumping. You can imagine, you have children, you've seen them. There's only one thing in mind, when is the bell going to ring? I want to go home. I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to tell Mom and Dad, I want to go to McDonald's. To the swimming pool. I want to go home because tomorrow I won't have to get up early because I won't have to go to school. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be on vacation. The teacher, Irma Garcia, 23 years, I want to recognize for her dedication and her ultimate sacrifice. This is probably talking to these children, McKenna, Annabelle, Rogelio. Oh, guys, y'all need to, calm down. You need to, simmer down. We're going to get to the end of the day. We're going to have our little parties, our award ceremonies, and you're going to enjoy summer. The best 2 days of school as an educator. First day of school, everybody's excited. You get to see all your new friends. Hey, so-and-so. Hey, look, somebody's new. Somebody just moved in. And the last day of school. No, obviously there are days in between. But those are the two. That's where they were. I'm going to get promoted. My parents are going to just love me to death. And life is going to be good. What am I going to do tomorrow? The other teacher, Eva Mirales, who gave up her life unwillingly in this situation. What are we going to do? Are their lives going to count for something? The best thing we can do for these children, is to come up with some solutions, some things to help to slow down, to alleviate, to bring us to a safer nation. Our kids, so they don't have to worry about it. What's going to happen on the first day of school next year? Every kid is going to go, walk into the building, and in the back of their mind, there's going to be that little inkling of, wow, man, remember that massacre over there somewhere? I think it happened in Texas or in the back of their mind. So sad that our future, our kids, are going to have that kind of anxiety, that just feeling that they're not in control. I speak to teachers. I have a daughter that's a teacher. One of my best friends, Geraldo Marquez, who's going to come up here and talk to you here in a minute. He happens to be the Democrat. I happen for over 40 years. We have these discussions about anything and everything, and yet we learn to make it happen. Yet we learn that it's okay to disagree, etc., but only to a certain point. The floor of the Senate, and it passes from the House. Please think about the children. Think about those who are dying because of gun laws that are just, complacent, not being enforced, being overlooked, and make some good choices and not worry, is this going to hurt me in my next reelection bid? This one here, I promise you, that the core of the American people, not the extremists, but the core, they're wanting change. Show us something. Give us something to buy into. Give us something that we can rely on to try to make a difference. Don't just do nothing. That would be the greatest travesty of all. To just turn it and say, well, everybody will forget about it, and everybody will move on, and we'll have another school year, and we'll have another massacre. And then we'll do the same thing, and we'll point fingers at each other, and we'll blame it on the gun, we'll blame it on the weather, we'll blame it on the school. The school wasn't safe on fast enough. I'm so tired of all that. Thank you for giving me the time to express my feelings.